This is a video for how to judge an impromptu round at a forensics tournament. Just some background on why these videos happened. Essentially, I'm in an advanced forensics course, and we had an assignment that we had to contribute to forensics pedagogy in some way. So I'm doing it by offering tips and advice to those who haven't judged before. This is a problem within the forensics community, as because we're constantly looking for judges, we often just get people right off the street who just don't know what forensics is or really how to judge something. So the purpose of these videos is to create an awareness for those who haven't judged a forensics tournament before by offering tips and advice for them. This video specifically is about impromptu. Now, the AFA description for impromptu is an impromptu speech essentially in nature with topic selections varied by round and by section. Topics will be usually derived from quotations. Speakers will have a total of 7 minutes for both preparation and speaking. Timing commences with the acceptance of the topic sheet, and limited notes are permitted, which means essentially that the performer will have a note card that they will write their notes on, but not everyone uses note cards. And as recently, in recent years, they have decided that the topics won't just be from quotations. Sometimes they're objects, sometimes they're cartoons. They really can be anything. What's important about impromptu for you as the judge is that you'll be asked to give time signals from 5 to 1 minute left, 30 seconds left, 15 seconds, and last 5 seconds down. These hand signals vary by person. As long as they clearly differentiate between them, it's the easiest way to make the speaker understand how much time they have left. It's important to keep a close eye on time because it is integral to the speaker's speech. During prep time, for when you first give the speaker the quotation or the cartoon or the object, you will be asked to give 30-second verbals as they are prepping. So as 30 seconds elapse, you would say out loud 30 seconds. And then once they start speaking, that's when you'll use nonverbals such as hand signals. Now, the structure of impromptu usually ends in a 3-1 or 2-by-2 structure. And what this means is that generally every impromptu speech will start off with an attention getter. And how that attention getter, that statement, that example has an argument that somehow relates to the quotation, cartoon, or the object. The competitor will then analyze the argument by either 3 or 2 points of analysis. This is completely up to the speaker. They can do it either way they want. Just be listening for their preview. They should preview their main points of analysis, and then each point generally has 2 main examples to back up that line of analysis. So just keep a good eye and listen to what the speaker previews. It'll be the easiest way. Now, ballot writing for limited prep events should focus on argumentation by the speaker, overall analysis, and knowledge of examples. The speaker should connect the argument logically to whatever they are analyzing. If you feel that an argument hasn't been logically linked, feel free to write that down because that's something that they need to work on. Secondly, the lines of analysis should be concise and support the argument, which means that they shouldn't say the same thing. They should be 2 different lines of argument that are usually a 4 to 5 words long that give you a concrete example on how to support their main argument. Lastly, the examples to support the lines of analysis should all be different and offer different perspectives on the issue. Many people in impromptu generally decide to do things such as use pop culture or movies or films and then maybe apply it to a little-known theory or different examples to help elaborate their point. At the end of your ballot, you should always give an RFD, which stands for reason for decision. It's a nice way to end your ballot by also telling the speaker what they did and why you ranked them in the way that you did. Essentially, the RFD is for everyone you didn't give the 1 to tell them, my reason for decision was that this person had a better argumentation, this person spoke better, this person had a different variety of topics and connected them all logically to the quotation. Things of that nature are acceptable to put on a ballot. Lastly, as an ending note, if you're ever confused, you can always ask the ballot table or even competitors to explain an event to you. Forensics kids are usually polite and helpful, especially to their judges. I encourage you to ask them if you are confused. If these videos don't necessarily help you, then make sure you ask until you can get a general understanding of what you need. Because the most important thing is that you listen and you understand what is being said and be focusing on the content of their speeches rather than the reasons why they're doing whatever they're doing. So today, I just wanted to wish you good luck and thank you so much for judging. As I said before, we're constantly looking for judges in forensics because so often we have so many children and kids competing and less people to actually judge the tournament. Just some last minute miscellaneous notes that should help illuminate some of the forensics norms. If a competitor comes in and signs in, they'll sign in at the very beginning, they'll put their name and their code on the board, and they might put DE after their name. This stands for double entered. It means that they are entered in another event that's happening in the same pattern as the one that you are judging. These students should be allowed to go first, and so that they can get to their next round. You need not wait if someone is double entered. Essentially, you should start the round on time. Competitors will come and go as they need. Just make sure that you have ballots for every competitor that has spoken and all of the ones listed on your judge sheet. Secondly, in impromptu, it's very interesting if the quotation that is given to the competitors, there's only one, then anyone who's competing in that round will leave the room and stand outside the door to make sure that people have the impromptu-ness of the speech so that they're not just focusing on what the previous person did. So they'll leave the room. If there are different quotations for each competitor, then they need not leave the room. And lastly, because it is a limited prep and a public address event, essentially as they're walking within their speech, they might walk to enhance different points. Don't get too distracted by this. It's just a way to walk from one side of the room to say that I was on point 1, and they might walk to the other side of the room when they're on point 2. It shouldn't be that distracting. It's just a forensic norm that happens. Thank you so much for judging.